do a quick system check. Microphone, good. Music beat, good. Lucky is here on a 50 stream streak. Holy shit, man. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for the support. Double check. Good. Twitch, good. I think we're set. Yeah, I think we're good. Alright. You know the drill. We gotta do the old stream launch stretch, folks. I don't care if you're sitting down. You can still stretch. You can still puff that chest out for everyone to see. You can lift your arms. Lift your arms. Really stretch it out. Palms out. Palms out. Like, don't hurt yourself. But like, you know, when you just like you feel the tension. When you feel the tension, when you feel like you're actually stretching, that's what you want. That's what you want. Lift your arms above your heads. Grab your hands together. Roll your shoulders back behind your back. Yeah, feels good. Maybe give yourself a little twist. To the other side. This is like the bare minimum of armchair workouts. And then, you know, don't forget to floss your wrists. Carpal tunnel is caused by, like, you know, having a couple of nerves, like, just kind of getting pinched. Rotate your wrist correctly. Do it nice and slow. Do that a couple times. It helps floss the nerves, so that way they don't get pinched. I learned that like 5-ish years ago, and it has saved my life. Oh my god. Probably flossing my wrist using an ergonomic mouse really helped me avoid any sort of like carpal tunnel, which would be fucking horrid. I write on a laptop computer every morning for, you know, my job. Alright. So, with all that being said, hey there, heroes. My name is Hero Girl, friendly local neighborhood hero tuber and professional idea haver. Today is February 16th, and this is the Daily Grind. This is the part of the day where we come on out and we just do our dailies. Get that grind on. Maybe you're a little worn down from the grind. Maybe you just need a break. Maybe you've been hard at work all day, and now it's time for you to chill out and relax. Maybe, just maybe, you have something else that you're working on. Maybe you need a buy double. Maybe you just need someone in the background to chill out with while you take care of adult stuff. Well, I'm here to say we're here to do that together. Woo! And then before I forget, hey Bandit, thank you so much for stopping by. We are doing pretty good. By the way, folks, in the mailbox for this week's announcements, they announced that they have a new thing coming to Arena. I've got to clean up my friends list here. Damn. Anyway, they're gonna have a lobby system now. At least it's kind of like a lobby. Like if you've played Master Duel, then you know what it looks like. You can set up a room for people to pair into each other and stuff like that. You can spectate matches. Arena's not nearly so robustly built. So we're just now getting a lobby where you can play against people. People who aren't even on your friends list. You can get challenged. You can block them if they're being dinks. You can do rematches. You can do whatever format you want. And it's got me thinking, what if all Hero Girl started hosting those games with chat streams again? Huh? What if? It was something that doesn't quite work on the current system because I have to be able to add that person as a friend. And if I'm just like adding a ton of chatters onto my friends list and my friends list gets really clunky. But having a lobby, that makes things a little easier. Not perfect, but easier. So, technically, by the way, Final Fantasy draft is still ongoing. Got like 17 hours left. Yeah, it's got 17 hours left. But I've got like 3 dailies I need to clean out. So we're just going to be back to Brawl. I had a lot of fun playing Final Fantasy draft. We'll look forward to doing it the next time we come on Flashback. In the meantime, got to do like blue and black spells, blue and white spells, red and black spells. Probably can play mono blue, knock this out. Play mono black, knock that out. What do we have in terms of blue? Still have quests that we're working on. We're working on Stola. I love playing Matoy. I do love playing with black decks. We have Lily here. We have Sephiroth, of course. I've got a couple different Lily decks. I've got like mono black control. I've got a little bit of lag up. Let me just like task manager real quick. I closed Discord and then Discord could go run in the back. Okay, it's primarily Arena. YouTube Studio always eats up like all this, but it's like secondary on GP. Performance issues. Let me tell you. Anyway, the Ultimate deck. I could start running the Ultimate deck. I've got a couple of the experimental decks we're working with. Let's just play with Matoya. Like double check, make sure there isn't anything crazy that the new set that we may or may not want to add. Pretty sure I already added some cards. Aquatic Subtlety would actually be pretty nice. It's nice for like the smaller cards that would just like cantrip and replace themselves. But I thought there was like a Scry Fairy. Guess not. Never hurts to double. Probably already draws like a. I don't think there's like any crazy control options here. Yeah, I don't think so. Like there were plenty of fairies. That's not like very different. Yep. Okay. So then, play with the toy. I want to work on the Questus deck. I think the Questus deck might need to turn into a Paradox Engine combo deck. I do think that the there she is. Load up. I do think the Questus deck is a lot of fun. But currently, right now, it takes just like a little too much work to try and survive while assembling the combo. If I put in Paradox Engine, I'd have to figure out like what I'm using Paradox Engine with. The Tome of Gadwick? No, the Conjurer's Tome? Something like that. Tome of Conjuration. That is one way that we can like storm up, but then we don't have like a payoff to it. Ooh, high perfect ball. It's gonna be Elf Ball. A lot of prolifer. So how do we want? We have Negate, we have Subtlety. We're on the play. Don't really have a lot of agency here though. I can use Negate on the Subtlety to get some tempo. We have Consider here that we can use after we play a Matoya. I'm gonna ship this back. It doesn't have enough space. This is dicey. So like it's got 2 lands, it's got Disruption, it's got Scalding Tarn. The Assistant is gonna like just melt instantly. I'll run this thing. I'm gonna mull one more time. This is better. I like this. Keep the 6. We don't need Caverner's Souls, but except for the fact that it is our 3rd land. Teferi helps us out eventually. don't think we're ready for carry though. I think we want to go Artificer's Assistant on one pass. Commandeer. I can cast Matoya next turn. Loam Speaker. Make a 4/4 that would actually just like beat our face at each. I will deal with that by going by Piranhas. Definitely ink. I can Commandeer. If I do that, I can start redrawing immediately. And I get to scry for another land to help us out. This is real. This is so fucking dicey, because if I Commandeer, then I have nothing to follow this up with. They go for a kill spell on Matoya. I'm in a really bad position. Like, they're not going to play out their commander. Unless they have, like, a Dark Writ. At which point I just lose the assist. I'm... Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Get rid of the Eaton. That's fine. Not ideal, but fine. So... Now I go ahead. And... pass the turn. I'm not going to play the Ink Mage just yet. They might have like an Allosaurus Shepherd that they're holding up. Chaldred! That is absolutely a card that we cannot let go through. Oh no, they have... Summervale? No Summervale. Okay. Huge for us. Huge. Absolutely huge. Unable to scream. I like that. Make sure that you use your non-basics manually. Just in case there's something weird like a field. I want more land. I would like to hit another land drop. Miscast. Opt. I can't cast them all. But I can go... do it like this. Draw the Opt. Now we get to Opt. We get to grab the extra land. And then we get that and the miscast. Now the Chomping Changeling blew up Unable to Scream. Either they don't have better elves, or that's really good for them. Want to hit the Morkant? I want to hit the Morkant. Leave up the oops, that's a mispointed damage. Whoops. Accidentally clicked on through. Alright, so yeah, we get to drop the assistant. Harbinger does nothing here. I would love to be able to castle Vantress. If I castle Vantress, I have Harbinger and Miscast I could still stuff with. So we're going to try and hit another land drop. Which is actually probably really bad. Worked out. Okay, never punished. The Loam Speaker could be for Tomio safekeeping. Blossoming Defense. Alright. Yeah. Notably, I could have gotten that same result if I just held up a miscast. But we're also severely lacking in options here. Like, manually going main phase 1, scry with Castle of Vantress, and try and, like, draw in the cards is not where we want to be. Okay. Whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, Surveil 2. Subtlety. It's kind of cool here. Unwelcome Sprite could dig us down, and then we could have like the Subtlety on the next turn. Kellen, thank you so much for the redeem. Go ahead, pass the turn. We're going to be dealing with a 5/4 that's going to punch our face in, and then the Loam Speaker also just deals 4. So, yeah, this is pretty fucking bad. Especially with Tivar here. Ugh. You don't have Defender either. I can trade the Ink Mage for a Changeling. I think I have to do that. They do get it like a redraw. What is this? This is 5 mana. Creatures control get XX with X raise power among creatures you control. That means that the Stoic Grove Garden just like gets fucking big. No blocks. Yep. Okay. All right. So there's subtleties. This bounces our creature or planeswalker spell. We could still just like fucking die. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and try not to die. Yeah, we're trying not to die. We're trying really heckin' hard not to die here. Flare of Denial is a redraw. It doesn't stop anything. Subtlety goes on top. They don't have the mana to use Tivar, so that's something. We can even use Subtlety to eat their small creatures. Trying really heckin' hard right now. Okay, yep. Just go ahead and doesn't even matter. Cast it. And now this is the dig. Search for Scanta is way too slow. Definitely Ink Mage is now online. Negate is not a card that helps us out here. Oh, they almost don't have enough mana to use Tivar, huh? Okay, I can double block. That's something that I can do. I think I will, actually. Just a 1 draw. Yeah, this is just a 1 draw. I could cast Matoya. I could recast Matoya without losing my Ink Mage. I need to keep the mana open, though. And, like, taking out the 5 power card. Yep. Yeah, they do get a redraw. But now Tivar only pumps for 3/3. Alright. You're gonna be blue. Do I get the scry? I do, because I was the first player, right? Medallion's not elite. Curate? I'm still kind of playing defensively here. Now I can cast Curate, Surveil 2, draw a card, draw another card, draw another card. When Herald attacks, look at the top 7 cards of your life. So first we get the Surveil 2, and then we'll draw. Disruption's not what we want. Grotto's not what we want. You get Astro Globe, which is pretty great. Nope, we don't want either of those. Look how much, like, selection we're getting from that. Ooh, that's fantastic. I love that. Let's go counter target spell. Tap all creatures the opponent's control. Enter Surveil. Yes, this is exactly the kind of stuff that we want. Like, we want both of them. Mentos Guidance is going to draw us like an assload of cards. Holy shit. Unwelcoming Sprite is doing so much work. Iron Shield Elf. Discard a card. This creature gains indestructible. Holy what? Okay, damn. That's a pretty good. Yeah, we're gonna go Plein Sphere first. And now this thing is gonna get heckin' chunky. Mentos Guidance. It's gonna be so big. We wanted to find something to deal with Tivar. We want any of our enchantments. That's a pretty good one. Oh, there's our Reliquary Tower. Oh, we need them to, like, just not be so fucking big. Tivar's 3 mana. They currently have 6, 7. They need 1 more in order to play him and use his effect. Much as I would like to, let's just bounce Tivar now. Give ourselves the ability to, like, potentially counter him. Talented Orb is not what we want. We're literally, like, drawing all the things right now. Mystical Dispute. You can just play Tivar. That doesn't do anything. If they play him, then I think we use Mystical Dispute so that way they can't just, like, top deck a land. Yeah. And now's the point where I think I start getting my chip damage in. Alright, so like I said, we're going to go ahead and do this now. That way they can't just overrun this turn. Oracle the Alpha. I'm going to take the Oracle the Alpha for no other reason than because getting a Time Twister into this deck is huge. Also, this token is just big on its own. We can actually move the Planisphere over to the Welcoming Sprite now. And we can actually start getting really heckin' busy. Alright, play Oracle first. Play Foul Watcher. And just, like, pray. Just pray. Force of Negation. That's a card that doesn't actually help us, huh? Conduit Pylons. I've got, like, nothing. If they do this and every creature gets +3/+3, I'm chump, chump. Maybe chump. 3. Yep, okay. That is really sad for me. That is way too much damage. And I just, like, I can't do anything about it. They can even use their Loam Speaker. Do 4/4. Oh, yeah. And now they have a Fauna Shaman, too. Like, they are way fucking wide of anything I can do. Murmuling Mystic use. The grace is that this doesn't give trample. Target creature and opponent controls to its owner's hand. That's something. Now I have blockers for days. I've also got Enduring Curiosity. It's the into the Flood Maw is actually just like really awkward though. It's awkward for no other reason than because the Fauna Shaman is there. I guess I could have gotten an extra job with the Curiosity. This is just fucking true. Because that Fauna Shaman can now like turn any creature they draw into a Crater Hoof potentially. Yep, they're gonna push all damage. I want... Turn target creature and opponent controls. Turn the Steel Champion. That reduces a lot of damage. And we're just gonna try and like do it. Oh, right, yeah, they can do that response. Fuck. Well, again. We just need to grab anything that we can activate at instant speed that are insignificant. That's not going to stop the power boost. But it might dig me a little deeper. I want... This is discard a card, get indestructible. Whichever one helps us out the most. I can cast Curiosity to help out. Wall of Runes. That's slightly smaller. We're out of things that we can do. We're going through so much fluff. Alright, so we can afford to take 3 of these, kind of. Kind of, not really. Alright, so there's 8. There's... This one is also 8. Orc of the Alpha can start drawing us cards. Foul Watcher doesn't do anything else. So use that to block. 7. Where are we at? We're at 12. 17. 19. Jump. Profit. And then the Murmling Mystic is how we stabilize. Right now this is 12. Go to 2. Yeah, I think that's how we have to block. Alright, we're at 2 life. We're at 2 life, and we have all of these to look forward to. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Think of the super's pretty helpful. Remember, kids, the only life point that matters is the last one. Moon Circuit Ninja, you say? Naruhodo and interesting. We have to deal with that fucking Fauna Shaman. We could go... I want to move so bad. Whenever you use Scryer's Avail, look at the top cards of your deck. Fauna Shaman's still there. Fauna Shaman's still a card. I have this Planetarium of Wand that I can play, but I can't do anything else yet. What I would like to do is... Welcoming Strike can actually be lethal next turn, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 3 more cards than I do, so I have to be able to use all 3 of these. Wish me luck. The Fauna Shaman can just, like, discard this thing and then grab any creature that would kill me. I can sink into super. Alright, that's 1 less attacker. I need to remember that that Loma Speaker can also put out like a 4. But then that's just trading like 1 creature for another creature. We've gone through half our deck already. Each opponent loses X life, where X is the greatest number. Yeah, that can just be okay. You can just go ahead and counter that. Yeah, we got there. We got there, chat. We got there. Oh my god, that was a long... How many cards did we have to dig through for that? Way too heckin' many. But, like, we got there. And we had the mulligan a couple of times, too. So, take a quick look at... Oh, I want to take a look at the deck real quick. So, it's cast a counterspell. We get Surveil 2. We also get make a bird to block. We also get... Whenever you cast a non-creature spell or draw your 3rd card, make this bigger. So yeah, just turning the Unwelcome Sprite into an Astrologian definitely helped out a lot. Like I said, the only life point that matters is the last one, right? Oh, and we cast so many spells that actually helped clear out a daily. That's pretty pog, if I do say so myself. Okay, we're already on the last page of the Mastery Pass. That's good. Got the stupid turtle set coming out next, and quite frankly, I am not inclined to buy any of those packs. Also, get the Mastery Pass because it has all that value. Quote. I mean, I guess you're paying 20 bucks for it, so like it's only worth the full. It's only quote valuable if you get your full value's worth out of it. Do I have Aetherize in this deck? Aetherize feels like that. Feels like that's the card I should have. Technically, I could also... Oh, this is kind of like Katara, huh? Yeah, this is kind of like Katara for the deck. Except just a little bit better. Yeah, I don't have any Aetherizes in the deck. I should really consider having one. Because I'm not always going to be able to cast a Psych Rip. What would be... Your... land spells over. Oh, the Forging Wicker Maw. This is one of the new Eclipse cards that I put in because it's literally a 2-mana 1/3 that surveils. But then also, once per turn, you can filter a mana through it to make colored, which is actually... I don't know if you noticed, but we play a lot of colorless lands in this deck because they have Incidental Scry and Surveil triggers. And that's bitten us on the ass a few times. So having a card that both walls up okay, filters and surveils, and cuts colorless itself, surprisingly huge. Surprisingly huge. Harbinger of the Sea, this is here because it gets some decks. Oracle. Oh, speaking of elf, we just watched The Martian last night. The one starring Matt Damon. I think it was like, what, 2014? Something like that. Saw that movie. Really good movie. Like, despite the fact that it's not a horror film, it does a really good job of teasing the audience with its suspense and tension. Really good film. Pretty easy for, you know, for anyone to watch. Not a horror film like I thought it was. For some reason, I thought it was like cosmic horror. Like, it's called The Martian, right? So it's about, you know, Matt Damon meeting Martians. But no, Matt Damon is the Martian. The whole premise is he got left behind on Mars and he has to survive long enough for NASA to rescue him. And the stuff that they do with that, just so good. So good. And the reason I bring it up is because at one point, they start talking about Elrond from Lord of the Rings. They call one of the rescue missions Project Elrond because they have to keep it a secret until they decide what they're going to do. Good sci-fi film for certain? Absolutely, absolutely. I was actually kind of impressed with how much thought went into trying to, you know, account for some of the physics and engineering that would have to take place, right? Like, I'm not going to say it's 100% realistic given the fact that it's, you know, on Mars with a giant space station satellite that can actually make the trip out there with a crew of 6 people, and they have room for an entire gym. Like, okay, yeah, some liberties are being taken here, but it feels like Ridley Scott really based a lot of the ideas and aesthetic in grounded reality. I think that's a pretty good place to be. I'm going to see. This is a screw draw, and I'm usually pretty happy to play, but it's also on an enchantment rather than a story. Meanwhile, cards like Murmuring Mystic, Alran specifically want instant stories. I think what I'll do is I'll cut Thassa, Omen, put in the Aetherize. Oh, they would need a way to keep in good physical condition, so we can let that slide. Well, see, the issue isn't that they have a gym, right? The issue is that where we're at right now with regards to science is that the International Space Station does not have a lot of room. Like, it is far from luxurious up there. It's basically like one of those playground jungle gyms in terms of space and maneuverability. Like, there's some room, yes, because you need to have multiple people in a single room, but they have nothing close to, you know, being able to just walk around and in what is functionally a private gym. So, like, yeah, that's the part that's probably one of the more, you know, exemplary of its sci-fi aspects. It's not that they have a gym, because of course you'll need a gym to, you know, avoid osteoporosis and bone degradation stuff. Like, we know all that, but also just like, it's just one of the reasons why I don't say, you know, realism and stuff, right? Like, I guess blue black spell. Oh, actually, when was the last time that I just, like, played my zombie? There weren't any, like, cool zombies in the past few, right? I don't think so. There is an Entomb, though. Entomb is a very real card. Then we also have... Pull that off. Do a little bit of last second tuning. Don't think rest of there. We can take a look at the special guest stuff. Better than that one sci-fi film that made a big deal about being 500 million miles away from Earth, like they'd thrown out the solar system. I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take that. It's a good hard deck that might want Dolmen's Gate. I don't think so. I think we just want the... So if I want the Attune, what am I... Because I Attune... Then I want... It's without Gravecrawler, doesn't... And we'll just play Garland. Just play Jack. Jack's always a fun time. Okay. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that don't remember exactly, but that this is would land you somewhere between Jupiter and Saturn, I think. yeah, they're always making things that like sound really cool and impressive until, you know, just until. Oh god. We're up against a Johnny Nicolo Pariah. This is a really, really fucking powerful commander. To the point where I have to wonder if this is even going to be a good enough start. To start with, we don't have any of our red. Dark Confidant could draw it, but all they need is like one bolt to disrupt that for us. So I'm going to shift this back. We've got Stalactite Stalker, Rebirth, Shoulder, Dismember, Trawler. It's got one piece of removal, which isn't quite enough. But whatever gets you there, I guess. The Shoulder can help us stabilize. Are they going to cast Naked Ajani? They are not going to cast Naked Ajani. That leads me to believe is I should go ahead and play Spectacle Destruction. So now if we do kill Ajani, we get the draw. If they have a way to kill their own cat... Ah, they just have Layla. Okay, yeah, that works. Portable Hull. We still have like a bunch of lands available. Dothy Voidwalker helps out a lot. This could shut down Ajani. Have Stalactite Stalker. I don't want them to continue drawing cards off their Reforge though. So what I could do is I could take 3. Ouch. Also just got this. I want to scale the Stalker though. I think I'm always playing the Voidwalker. And then, just kind of by process of elimination, I have to crack this for a basic swamp. And then I will be paying the iron price here. We're going to pay 4 life, Al. Get rid of Layla. That does not trigger the Spectacle of Destruction of Layla. But it does get rid of it forever. Which means that they haven't, like, any Flage lines. That is currently on. Pyrogoy. No, Spectacle of Destruction is gonna get us a new card. Fear of Ridicule. If I can hold that up, that's great for me. I would love to be able to play out Shoulder. But I'm really counting on them having like some sort of burn-based removal for this Fear. They decide to play a Johnny, then... Okay. Tactical re-triggers. Fear of Ridicule is back. They can either play a Johnny, or they can remove Fear of Ridicule again. Yep, just take 3 from the Shoulder. Mother of Rune. And a Johnny. Not ideal. Ragavan's kind of... So... I can still just, like, get got. I can play the Stalker. I can kill Mom. I can Fear of Ridicule, attack in. They would have to lose a Johnny and their token for that. Let's go play the Stalker first, actually. Then go combat. Attack in. They can block if they want. Alright, sweet. Now I just get it for free. Yes. Minus X, minus X. Oh, wait, shit. I didn't think about this. I didn't think about this at all. Fuck. Because, like, right now, this is just... Kill the cat. God damn it. Fuck. Fuck. And Johnny's going to trigger when this cat dies. Stalker does not get bigger. The flip side of a Johnny can make a cat if you control red damage other than a Johnny deals damage to any target. So I can save the ridicule. I can... Alright. This is just going to be -1/-1, where it's equal to its power. Just to save Mother Runes. Yep. Yep, and then a Johnny transforms. Johnny can either bolt or whatever. Okay, so this is going to be 4 to my face. Or 4 to fear of ridicule. Okay, yep, that's game. God damn it! I didn't even think about them just jumping with the cat. For some reason, I thought they would be forced to... You've been hit by, you've been struck by a salty criminal. Doom doom, doom doom, doom 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 doom. You just caught the bad beatdown. Annie, are you tapping? Are you tapping? Are you tapping out? Annie, are you tapping? Are you tapping? Are you tapping out? Annie, are you tapping? Are you tapping? Did you tap your cards? Annie, did you tap out? Can I swing now? Can I play my cards? Quintorius can't. I have not seen you in quite a while. Holy shit. This card can get incredibly ridiculous. We need to strike hard. We need to strike fast. I'll keep this. This is good. Go ahead. We can play our Knight of Ebon to start. What I want to do next turn is play Garland, Mishra's Bauble to immediately surveil. And then let's just go combat now. If they mana tie Garland, no, they're gonna bolt Knight. Okay. Now we get an immediate surveil. Liliana, that's a pretty nice card to have. Now this is a Planeswalker, so we need our Edict to deal with Glorious. Deals 2 damage to each opponent and we gain 2 life. Yeah, Garland dies. Send him to the command zone for now. Alright, what are you gonna draw next? Iganjo? Sure. This could potentially backfire. If I had like 1 more mana, I could go Inquisition, scout them out. If they don't have any basics, this just like theoretically locks them out. Always playing you. I'll play Magus and check to see if they have any white sources. Nope. Alright, that's Chandra. Chandra can take care of Magus now.
Hey, over here.
Yep, okay. That makes my life a little harder. Because now they can just cast Quintorius. Sword of Fortune Frontier. They have Bruce Tower. Whenever enemies or attacks, exile the top card of your library. If it's a land, you make an Ox. Like, cast Quintorius next. This is only for each legendary creature. I can also just, like, play Lily. No, I need combat. I will try and play Lily if I can swing it, though. Like, if they decide that what they're going to do is play Bruce Tyrell. No, they're going to go Signet. There's just no way they don't play Quintorius, right? Like, yeah, you go ahead, you play Quintorius. Now you get to go ahead and make a Spirit token. Sure.
Never go it alone.
And I can even take Bruce out. I can take... Let's see... Fable of the Mirror Breakers. That's pretty good eventually, but that's not what I want now. Another Goyf. Okay. I want to eat a card out of this. I want to hit Chandra, then cast Edict, eat Quint. I can't do that unless I go... Always kill the token. I need to go combat. Attack Chandra. Discard the Goyf. That is not quite what I want. So if that's going to be the case. You sack a Planeswalker. Now they can't cast Quintorius and their thing. And then sure, just make you a base 2/2 for F6 value. Alright, there's Bruce Tyrell. Dow makes a dude. Do they really have just like... Okay, it's Rip Apart. That's fine. That feels like the wrong card to run out, but sure. Now I can Lily, make him sack.
Something suspicious is going on.
Enters or attacks.
Off you go.
Really don't like this. I attack with Inti. I don't attack with Inti right now. 3, 4, 5. Yep, that's yet another Ox. I mean, they're hellbent. I'm hellbent. Anti trades. Your graveyard +1. Got enchantment, artifact, creature, land. I don't even play Garland, so that way Garland at least trades with Bruce Tyrell. They can just like play Quintorius at any point. And they're gonna do so. Ow. Yep, that's pretty good. Alright, now we get to start doing some stuff. Ooh, reanimate, you say. Reanimate and bolt? Reanimate and bolt. I need... What am I doing if I reanimate the... I can go attack with Inti. Attack Quintorius. I can also trade this Lily, just like make him sack something. Bolt the double striker. There's quite a few stuff I can do here. If I discard the reanimate on the Goyf, that's probably fine. Yep, so they do that. I can go ahead, bolt here. Fail, throw away another land.
Compromise the dig site.
Then just cast it the rest of you. Bit of triumph. Love to see that. I guess I could have just like cashed in Lily. Opposed to just offering trade, because now the spirit token gets to attack for free. Oh, fuck this thing. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, discover X, where X is the damage. God damn it.
Never go it alone.
Alright. And then they also have a farewell. And then, yep. Party Thrasher. 2 damage. Conjure a duplicate. I love Quint. But this is just too much. And they just have like farewell. Alright. Maybe I should. I forgot to just like cast a few more spells just to make sure I got my daily stuff taken care of. Quint is like just a really good red-white control deck. We'll play one more before we switch over to Final Fantasy 14. And I am consistently soft to like control decks because of the decks I like to build and play. And it's not like a huge problem, but you really start to feel the snowball effect when the control deck takes over. It's kind of like Matoya. You saw that game earlier where we were up against a black-green elves deck that almost had us dead. They were just so close to the finish line. But once we stabilized, it became clear that there was just no way that they could get their way out of it. And being on the other side of that is just, oh, so brutal. It has 3 lands. It's a little sketchy, though. If I can get shouldered down, we're pretty good. I got shouldered down a little. Well, no, because I had the Nahiri's Warbringer. That would have been 5 damage to shouldered. And them bad beats. I've had a few. I've had myself some kicks in my face, but I can't lose. Skrill. Ragavan. I do like me some Ragavan, but just deal with Skrill. Skrill is another room. Like, every color has effects that get really obnoxious to deal with. Like, that is just the truth of the world. When this creature enters, creature cards in your hand perpetually gain. When this creature enters, make a citizen token. Alright, so the Ragavan is basically a dead card right now. I can play Garland, or I can Thoughtseize. I think I'm playing Garland. And setting myself up to go Thoughtseize Bolt. Belthor, whenever she enters or attacks, you can sack a non-land. If you do, put a 1 counter on each creature you control. Is that she is going to very quickly get outside of Bolt range. I am just like never blocking right. So I have a bolt that I need to save. Creature ends with 2 counters on it. Whenever one or more counters are put on another permanent bolt, I don't have enough removal to deal with both of those. So what's going to be more problematic? Is it going to be Felithar or is it going to be Brawler? Just Thoughtseize to inform our decision. Fable is too slow here. I'm going to need to play Soldier next turn. Veritable Bearer makes creatures every turn, but they just don't have the mana for it. Oh, they only have 2 lands in the first place. Create a curse attached to a target creature you control. Raven Inspector makes a token. This counter. They can't cast the Hex Mage yet. Either Generous Pup or Inspector. Inspector potentially draws them out. Take the puff because it goes wide so much faster. Then play Ragavan. Use Ragavan as removal. In case this happens to be a top deck of a land you could produce. Yep, they're gonna crack the clue, they're gonna redraw. At some point, they're gonna be able to just, like, do it. Now, the Brawler gets big and has Trample. It trades with the Sholdred. How am I doing this? I think killing the Felithar really important, but at this point, I think I just need ways to, like, push damage. Goyf is huge for us. And if I can just, like, push, then even better. Like, if they want to trade all of that for them, they can. Soldier helps us stabilize. They might have a black source by now. You control could be. Gotcha. You see, this is why we don't play Urborg. This is why it's not worth playing Urborg in most of these decks. Alright, so double green. This isn't going to be Ferrothorn. As long as the top card is a creature card, you can cast it. Okay, they found their land. They found their black source, so they are going to play Ferrothorn next turn. Means Sholdred hangs back. If one of our counters would be put on an artifact or creature, then many +1 instead. This is a sorcery. This would kill the constrictor. Would not kill the constrictor. +1? Ah, damn it. Where things get oh so tricky. I can like trade Garland. Not really gonna help me out though. Because Ferrothorn comes into play, eats a creature, gets big. They can even, if they hit like a yeah, they have 2 black swords. They can play their Spiteful Hexmage, attach a cursed token, play Ferrothorn, sacrifice the cursed token. Now Skull Smashing has to like be used now, but doesn't even kill the Constrictor. I can hit the Illuminator. I can try trading with some more stuff. Garland is going to get outscaled here very quickly. And I think I'm just too slow. This Goyf helps out a lot. Gets me a big chunk of damage, but they're going to get to add 4 additional counters on everything. This is why I hate Shadow Skull Smashing, by the way. You're paying so much mana for an effect that's so small. Theoretically, it doesn't cost anything because it's taking up a land slot. And, like, you know, if this was just like a land that comes to play tapped, you'd rather have a spell out of it. But at the same time, just every chance I get to play with it, I'm like, I wish this was a real removal spell, right? Which I guess is just, like, factually wrong. You're supposed to be thinking of this as a creature that you can... As a... Oh, it's a voice. Okay. So... I can still shoot a 2/2. This is gonna make a token that's, like, big. Sigh. Like, they're at 8 life. What I wouldn't give for, like, a meat hook master right now. That would do so much work. The voice of Richard Surge is just Star. Gonna be approximately. So what am I doing? This thing has vigilance and flying. I attack. You're gonna block with resurgence. I can block more or less everything. I hold this Shadow Skull smashing. Like, the voice of resurgence blocks every time. The Warden can, if the Warden blocks Garland, I still don't get to kill it. Is like the crazy thing. Put Garland away. Yep, they get something that is absolutely massive. I can now kill the Constrictor. I have to kill the Constrictor. That's going to be 1 mana. Go ahead, play this. Go ahead and... Jiao the Moonslayer is not... Alright. You ready for Mr. Toad's wild ride? So hero, Marley Faye Ascendant. Fairies, elves, or both? Whatever you want, man. Like, for what I want to do with Marlin, I've actually been really disappointed with how she's been doing. Like, in my mind, she is just an incredibly lackluster card. Like, she doesn't even really offer anything fantastic in terms of synchronization. She's not a lord. She's a card that is 5 mana, has to come down first before you get any sort of benefit from her. And then you have to maintain a board state in order to actually do anything. I kind of think Marlin's garbage. This is 6, 9, and 11, 14, 20. You have 2 blockers. I have hasty Spider-Punk. And then I also have Snuff Out Warden. And then that's game. Let it not be said that we didn't need a really fucking good top deck in order to make that work. Okay, so yeah, we absolutely needed to fucking hit the Constrictor, because if we didn't, the overrun just murders us. And we needed a little help from the opponent, you know, missing some early land drops, but we, you know, give and take. It's happened to us, it will happen against us every time. So if you're asking whether you should build Marlin Faye as like elf, an elf deck, a fairy deck, or just like a mix of both, I think you just kind of do whatever you want. Like, she just doesn't offer enough incentive to do any one particular thing. So, you know, if she's equally awful at everything, then you're kind of free to do whatever you want. That's the short of it. Alright, so let's go ahead and... You're asking my opinion? Yep. Yeah, I know. My opinion is that I don't think that it really matters. And I'm saying this as someone who was like, I got Marlin and I was really excited to try her out. And then just kind of as soon as I started trying to play some games with her, I kept running into this issue of, wow, I am dropping literally all of my creatures before I have a chance to actually play her. And as soon as she comes down, she'll grab a couple of cards. She'll make any of the subsequent draws better, but I never get into a scenario where I want to play her. That makes sense. Like, she's never the exciting thing I want to do for the deck. Now for some Final Fantasy 14, folks. Oh, that's right. I was getting ready to do some Dark Knight side questing in my spare time. I did figure something out. Not even like today, but like the day over the weekend. So I've been playing through Pedro's Adventures in Spanish. That's been the current game that I'm working on. And like, it's fine. I got it because I was looking at games that could help you learn a language. And Pedro's Adventure in Spanish was a very immersive. It's an entire game that's predicated on everyone speaking Spanish. It's got voice acted lines, which is great. It's got text, which is great. It's got point and click adventure syndrome, where you know how point and click adventures go. You pick up a point and click adventure game. You gotta figure out all these like story based puzzles, and sometimes they're very, very silly. Like, I don't know how many of you remember like Putt Putt's Adventures or Freddy Fish or something like that, but it's kind of in that vein of point and click adventure, except it's Spanish. Which, okay, great. I've been wanting to play a point and click adventure. I've been feeling really nostalgic for it. But then you get into those puzzles where, you know, the solutions feel so kind of obstinate. They're kind of, you know, left field-ish, where the process of trying to figure out exactly what it is, like what the puzzle is asking of you, is to just literally cycle through your entire inventory and try clicking on the thing with all the different items and seeing what works by process of elimination, rather than actually trying to figure out the puzzle itself. And while I like what the game is doing in terms of like helping my confidence with, oh hey, I think I actually know more Spanish than I gave myself credit for, it's doing that thing where, at least as far as I can tell, there's no real like hint for how you're supposed to solve, you know, some of these puzzles. Like, I see a gate. Okay, I'll probably need like a key or something to get through it, right? Like, it's closed. I'm clicking on the gate. I'm shaking it. It's rattling. Doesn't do anything. Okay, it's locked or something. I go into town. I talk to everyone. I ask about like the cemetery and stuff like that. And, you know, they'll tell me about the cemetery. They'll tell me about all the monsters and ghosts that are in there. And I'm like, okay, neat. How do I open the gate? No one has an answer for me. And so I just, you know, I go back to the gate and I'm like, what am I missing? I explore the rest of the areas and I don't see anything that, or find anything that helps me get the gate. I progress up in other areas. Nothing tells me how to get through the gate. I go back to the gate. I puzzle on it. I think, oh, maybe I missed something in one of the earlier areas. So I go all the way back to the earlier areas. And then because it's, you know, click and point with Pedro literally walking across the screen, it takes time to go across the screen. And so that's like 10, 15 minutes. I'm just traveling just to see if I missed something, anything. Talk to everyone. Okay, no hints about the gate? Okay, try going back again. Maybe there was something else I missed and I just have short memory problems. Nope. So now we have to start just clicking on the gate with a bunch of different items and seeing what happens. And then it turns out the solution is to use your sword to cut the rope that was keeping the gate shut. That wasn't like a chain and lock or anything. It was just a rope. At what point am I supposed to, you know, usar espada to abrir the gate, you know? And it's just puzzles like this, where the solution is just face-palmingly obtuse, are part of why I don't give up on some of these games. I had this really long stretch of playing good quality games where I felt like I could trust the developer. Like, Stray, Hollow Knight, Armor Core, eventually Xenoblade Chronicles, stuff like that. Those were really, really good games. Well, even playing through visual novels, like playing Valhalla, playing Digimon Cyber Sleuth, playing Slay the Princess, playing hell, even Gunman Clive. Playing those games, those are really good games. And I was starting to trust the developers again. But this game, Pedro's Adventures in Spanish, reminded me what it feels like for a game to hurt you. Yeah, some point games are like that. Yeah, they sure fucking are. They sure fucking are. And it's just, it makes me not want to play the game. I'm gonna make myself finish it. It's not a particularly difficult game. And I'm trying to look up solutions when and where I can. Now, because it's such an obscure game, there aren't really like a lot of guides or answers on how to do like some of these things. I'm almost done with the game. Sure, fine. I'm trying to finish this game before the end of the month. I've got like 2 weeks left to do that. I might need to abandon it at some point. But the point for all of this, right, is that this game was actively frustrating me. I didn't want to play it. So I went back to playing Final Fantasy XIV while listening to some YouTube videos. And then just having some segments where I just played Final Fantasy XIV. And I thought, I'm using this game time that I have used for other games. Like if I woke up in the morning, and I was taking a break from writing, I would go into the living room and play Cyber Sleuth. I'm doing that again with Final Fantasy XIV. I could have been doing that with Pedro's, but no, I'm doing that with Final Fantasy XIV. So while I'm still doing just the daily grind here on Final Fantasy with all y'all, thank you for hanging out with me, by the way. Happy Family Day for us Canadians. While I am playing a game, I need to remember that Final Fantasy XIV is also its own game. Doing things like all the quests, reading the story, doing the yellows and stuff like that, that is actual game stuff that I want to take my time with and enjoy. It's part of why we're taking the break right now for Final Fantasy Friday. And so I'm going to have to keep that in mind and keep that in line with the schedule that I have planned out for the year. I don't know what that means entirely. What I do know is that for now, at least, we're gonna go do those bird chores. We gotta go to the It's so crazy too, right? Like in some instances, I can kind of guess what the developer was thinking in terms of like puzzles, because there's a part where you have to figure out how to get inside one of those willow oaks, the ones that have like the big gaping owl holes in it, like those little holes that develop kind of within the trunk of the tree, and then sometimes birds will live in there. But no matter what you do to click on it, it doesn't do a thing. And so I have to like think, oh right, there's water in the screen right next to it. So what if I just like tried putting,
Support has arrived.
Lucky, thank you so much for gifting a sub. Hey Sam, enjoy your sub. But yeah, so it comes down to, wow, I'm trying literally everything. I've tried magic potion, I've tried hot soup and all this. What if I try bottled water? What if I just try and like throw water onto it? That ended up doing the trick. And it's difficult to kind of intuit that as the answer for that particular problem, because the game has a hunger and thirst system, right? It wants to teach you about, different words for drinks and foods. It wants to teach you about the sopa caliente, which is overpowered, by the way, because it takes care of your hunger meter and your thirst meter. Light of the midges. But like, because it's so easy to be like, okay, well, the water is here, because the developer wants to make sure that you have access to water to drink. It's very hard to see it as a hint or a tip, right? It's hard to actually engage with it as a hint to the puzzle that's being asked. And that's the other thing too, because the hunger and thirst system is persistent, as in like you constantly need to make sure you have food and water for Pedro so he doesn't die of dehydration. IDK, if I would stop being thirsty, tomando sopa caliente, está caliente. Mejor agua fría. I mean, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But that's how the game works, right? And so because, you know, you have to manage your thirst and you're like, okay, yeah, there's just water here. It's there's that way I can drink it. You don't really think about it as anything other than that. And then there's a part of the game where you have to get into someone's house. You have to get them to invite you into the house by having your hunger meter be at critical. I.e., you literally have to be starving before this guy will invite you into his house and give you food. And to be fair, he does offer a little bit of a hint in terms of what he says. But nothing about the game says that you have to be like out and out starving in order to do it. And that's important because you have to get into his house to get the rat that goes into the witch's magic potion to cure the wolfman of his curse. And I didn't realize that until after I had, you know, had my soup. So now I'm just waiting for like 5 minutes for my hunger to completely run out, so I can go inside this man's house, solicit bread out of him and steal his rat. Frustrating experiences aside, like, I see the vision. It's a good game, but like, wow. Never take for granted how good or well thought out a game is if you can just play it and not get stuck. There's a video by Bishop Thang called Hollow Knight is the only game I trust. And like, I feel that. I feel that so hard, right? Because of how many times I have traveled across that map just to not only solve puzzles, but also just to get some more soup. Because if I can solve hunger and thirst with soup, well then, like, why wouldn't I just go back and get more soup? And I only just unlocked fast travel, which only works at like, 5 unique points. Like, yeah, now it's a little easier, but I'm already like 2/3 of the way through the game, I think. I've got 2 weeks to finish it. I've got 2 weeks to try and finish this game. I'm going to get back to it. Spent all weekend playing Final Fantasy XIV and mulling this over. So, we made some progress. We're going to finish making progress. But also, damn, I miss some of the better games. I mean, I'll tell you, when I played some of these other games, they just fucking hacked my brain and just took over. I still have video essays and stuff to watch on some of these. I still have like an Armor Core 6 main story plot analyzed and like essay thoughts on it. That is some good stuff. I am eating real good. By the way, chat, where are we on thinking about achievements? Because in one of those essays, I was watching Super Dude's Games That Reflect You essay, and in one of them mentions Play the Proof. how he hates how Slay the Prince is bad because it basically incentivized him to keep playing past what he thought was a perfect endpoint. And that is something I've also been thinking about. I've been thinking about how deep I want to go to any particular game and what it takes for me to satisfy with what I've done. Just for like, achievements are good if they're fun. I mean, yeah, that's definitely part of it, right? Oh, Sam, you tried Frog Fractions? Yo! Frog Fractions is so great. It's such a fun way to spend an afternoon. I love that type of absurdist stuff. But yeah, see, here's the thing, right? Achievements are good if they're fun. But then there are also achievements that are just like super grindy. And achievement hunting is tumultuous. Like, well, there's a YouTube channel called The Completionist, right? Where he literally just plays a game and then 100% completes it. Talks about how long it takes, talks about the process of what it's like. Then evaluates how much fun that grind is. I'm absolutely not a complete. I am not someone who wants to 100% every game they play. Or even like most games, right? But then it also kind of begs the question of, you know, why are they there then? Like, Steam requires achievements. That much is certain. But some games like Undertale, they just make the achievements getting to various, just getting to the chapters. They don't add special things like, oh, you know, do all this or do all that or do this weird quirky thing. Quote, I agree, though I got all the trophies in Need for Speed Unbound, I'm still playing it because of the online component. Something you've never done before. Yeah, see, and that's fine, right? It's fine because that's something that you're doing of your own volition. In this Super Dude essay, it comes up, you know, he basically shares the opinion that he doesn't, not a completionist, he doesn't like that games have outside achievements. Like, ideally, playing the game should be the rewarding aspect of it. Like, you're playing the game to playing the game. You're not doing all this other stuff just for the achievements themselves. Not just to say that you 100% ascended it. Like, the only game that I've 100%ed is Ender Lilies. That's literally the only one. And part of that is because the boss rush mode, that doesn't count towards 100%ing. That's literally just a boss rush. But some games count the boss rush, right? I think Hollow Knight does. Hollow Knight counts God Home as part of the percentage. Is how you can get to like 113. So then you also have to ask: is this developer problems, or is it player problem? Quote, I think that kind of checkpoint achievements is useful to see how many players are willing to hit certain points for your game. Before a developer would be a useful tool. I can see that, yeah. Using the achievement system to see like how many players you have that are 100% completionists, see which options are being picked. You also don't necessarily need achievements to do that though. I was watching some of the developer interviews for Slay the Prince, right? And what they said was when they were doing just regular playtesting, like open access for their games and stuff like that, they can, you know, record and see how often different decisions are being made, since this is a visual novel type game. And they can make tweaks based on the responses. So if there's a option that's not getting picked nearly as much as what they want, they can make some tweaks based on their data. So you don't inherently need achievements for that, but achievements can be used for that. Ah, we have final Zundu. Nest side story. This is the final one, isn't it? This is the final one. Did I already turn in? I did. Now let's go ahead. Level 50. The new Valley is ready to face the Vundu, but first would ask one or more favor of an old 43. Let's just go do PvP. Got Wonder Scales that I need to clear out too. It's either PvP or I can do a level, but it's gonna be one or the other. You say the Vanu Vanu are like owls? I don't know that they're like owls. Like, they're definitely big, feathery fellas, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel very owl-like, you know? Like, owls have very large eyes to help allow light and allow for dark vision. These guys... Not entirely sure. Like, I thought owls originally, too. But no. No, I don't think that's quite right. Especially when you get to Dawn Trail and you see how colorful they can be. I'm not sure what it is, but probably not. What do you think? Probably PvP. Yeah. Oh wait, actually, hold on. Which job do I even want to put the experience on? I've got everything except Dark Knight and Gunbreaker to 61. So I guess no. Just if it's PvP, you always put the two DPs. So then, which one's the worst one to want to do any sort of other leveling on? Black Mage, yeah. Okay, so just start getting Black Mage to 71. Double check the tone. Anyway, achievements. So one of the things that I've been thinking about with all that discussion that I saw from that one video is how hard I want to go into my achievement hunting, into my or just like completing side quests in general, right? Because what's the point of a side quest? What's the point of achievement? Because achievements, if you think about it, are just an extension of the side quest system. They're basically out of the game side quests that you can go and do to accomplish anything. And it does depend on what you have or what they are. Final Fantasy XIV has in-game achievements. And they do kind of incentivize people to play certain ways or to do whatever you want. Achievement hunting is a real thing in this game. And they are a miserable, miserable grind. You have to be someone like Cider Spider just to have the mentality of going through and getting all of them, because it requires so much grind. Meanwhile, I'm someone who would happily play through this game and get my achievements as we go. But actually farming the achievement, sure, maybe, possibly. But it's also still a side quest. It's still like, it's optional content is what it is. It's an option. And it's an incentive, but like, there's an incentive to do a bunch of different things, right? Like, ignore the idea of why exactly these achievements are being added. Sometimes they're added because the developers will think of cool things that can help players experiment. Sometimes they're added to help players like explore their options. Sometimes they're added as just more ways to keep players busy. There's a lot of reasons to add achievements, but I don't think there's anything inherently bad about a game having achievements, right? Even if they are just like dumb and grindy, they're there for the people who really, really wants to like play your game and have something to work toward. Whether the quality of them, you know, makes the experience fun or not is relative. There's a video essay by Rasputin called "Playing Games in Unfun Ways," where he talks about that. Where he talks about how he wanted to 100% Dark Souls and get all the achievements. He wanted to get all the achievements in Dark Souls 3. And he had a lot of fun replaying Dark Souls 3 up until this point where he decided that he was going to get all the achievements. And then the essay is him kind of mulling over how awful it feels that he decided to do this and how it kind of like ruins the taste in your mouth. This is the point where you've had your cake and you went, wow, this is great cake. I'm full. And then you just keep shoving the cake into your cake hole. Despite the fact that you're full, right? You're still shoving the cake into your cake hole and you're gonna get sick. But you're still doing it anyway because for some reason you said, I'm gonna 100% this cake. Now, you know, I'm not talking about people who eat competitively, right? I'm not talking about the people who, you know, make their living, or maybe even just like as a hobby, go around competing in food competitions where they stuff themselves silly. That's something entirely different. That is like, it is my job to 100% complete this game. So I'm going to go ahead and do it, and then I'm going to write my thoughts on the process of completing this game. That's kind of what makes the completionist cool. But what Rasputin talks about is he talks about playing games that he really likes. Then he feels like he's obligated to 100% them, to see absolutely everything that these games have to offer. And it ruins the memory. It ruins the memory of the game for him. Until at some point it just circles back to being something that he's okay and at peace with. And finding that line for each person is already hard enough, but then you have to think about how it changes on a per game basis. Quote, it's not bad, no? Like, look at Star Wars. As a movie franchise, it doesn't have achievements, but still some people feel inclined to watch everything just because it's a fan-made, self-imposed checklist. If someone wants to only watch the first 3 movies, good for them. If someone wants to watch the show for babies and Disney Junior about Yoda being a teacher, good for them too. Yeah, that's the point where you have to really consider where you are personally responsible for the game. I've actually started picking my jobs based on what map we're on and what format we're doing. This is a capture the flag format where people have to manually capture their flags. So our auto turret will critique. Yeah, at some point you have to understand when you can't eat any more cake, folks, right? At some point you have to put it in the fridge and finish some of it at a later point. And I think trying to conflate that amount of personal responsibility with game incentive is important. Like, games are probably closer to books than they are anime or movies or something like that. Because with a book, you have to actually interpret the text. You're imagining the characters' voices. You're imagining what they look like. You're imagining how they sound. You're imagining the inflections that they're speaking with. And all of that is part of a collaboration between the writer and their reader. The reader is filling in all of the blanks that the author leaves with their imagination. And games are similarly also collaborative in the sense that the player is the one basically being the main character. They're the one picking all the buttons to push and how quickly they push them. So, there's in that respect, you kind of have to think, well, if I'm reading a book, of course I have to read the whole book if I want to understand the story, right? But that's not really the case for games. You think about a game like Baldur's Gate 3, and there is so much that you can do, right? Like, there's a shit ton of lore, a ton of stuff to find and figure out. If you were to play through as like any of the origin characters, you would get a part of the story, not the entire thing, but like a part of the story. and then, you know, experimenting and trying out all of the different options that you have, like romancing them, killing them, seeing all the different ways that they do stuff. All of that goes into the totality of their story. But you don't necessarily need to explore every single one of those options to get a good sense of what their story is. Like, you know how Shadowheart is a cleric of Shar? Like, she is literally a cleric. Her religion and her tie to her beliefs are a huge part of her story arc. You can just make her a rogue and ignore the fact that she, like, make her something other than a cleric. Which is the thing that the developers gave you the ability to do. You can go through and play Baldur's Gate 3, play it exactly the once, have your one playthrough, and then be like, yep, that's a good game. I'm done now. I'm full. And be content with that. Like, that is perfectly valid. You can also be a lore hound and explore literally every single centimeter of that game. It's fucking massive. You can do it. You can check out all the permutations. I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 in a playthrough with my wife and Jess and Fran right now. And we're still seeing stuff that Fran has not seen after doing like at least 2 or 3 playthroughs of his own. Like that's crazy. And yet, no one would say that you have to do all of that in order to have it properly experience the game, you know? Yep. The same kind of goes with visual novels. You can play a visual novel and play exactly one of its routes. I'm not talking about a I'm not talking about like a Connect novel, like National Park Girls, right? That's a Kinetic novel where you have no choices to make or anything like that. You are literally just there to enjoy the story as is. That is a book rather than a game, in so much more of a truer sense. But if you were to play something like a Katawa Shoujo, like a Slay the Princess, hell, even like a Hatoful Boyfriend, you can play all of them and only play the one route and just be like, yep, I played my route, that was fun, I'm done now. And also you can go through and get all the different endings, so that way you can get the one little bit that makes the true ending the true ending. You know, just like it's all so variable. Like Audible Boyfriend feels much more like you kind of want to play through everything in order to get the full picture game, as opposed to you play through your two routes and then that's it. Quote: I think you would enjoy Action Button's video about the hardest boss in every single Sega game. Even to date, Shiroi Fujisaki cooking Enki Memorial. Yet to basically understand the game to a point akin to doing a no-hit run in Souls games. When he talks about that, how there's people who get a single and then end and they're okay with it. Yeah, something like that, Actually, it's funny. You know what game rewards you for going through and doing all the stuff? Doki Doki. I can't say this from first-hand experience, from the essay that I saw, someone who did fan content for Doki Doki, but there is an ending that you can only get if you did the whole save scum thing, go back, fill out the gallery, and, you know, basically what amounts to properly getting to know the character. Where at the very end, one of them will thank you for having spent the time to actually get to know them as characters, as quote. Then that's it. That's the best ending that you can get for that game. A game that's obviously like subversive and metatextual. And it's kind of the same with something like Slay the Frontier. You can play it the first time. But what if you spent the time to get to know it? What if you spent the time to like really understand everything that the game is trying to say and develop a better picture of what it has to say about it? You see games like loot boxes, you know, and you see that there aren't achievements, but there are things that would incentivize players to actually play. You know, talk about the Sans and Undyne fights. Those fights existing are already incentive for players to play in a way other than what the general message of the game is, right? At the end of the good ending, Flowey says, hey, they finally have their good ending. Could you just, like, leave them alone and not play again? And then if you don't, if you go in a genocide run and you, just to get all that extra fights and all that extra content, the game, you know, makes you out as like this demon of death and destruction. But I don't think it's actually condemning you for playing the game that way. I think what the game is trying to do, what Toby Fox is trying to say by extension, is that it's really asking you to think about why it is you're doing what you're doing. It is possible to play Undertale over and over again, just to read all the different iterations of, you know, like what Sans will say at the end. Like if you just kill Papyrus, if you kill this person, this monster, that monster, are you really? I think Undertale's message there isn't that you're a bad person. I think it's asking, like, why? You know why you're doing this? Are you doing this because you really want to see some minuscule changes to text? Are you having doing this? At one point, Flowey even says, oh, I get why you're doing this now. You're bored. You're bored, and you're trying to, you know, you're no better than me in that regard. And that's the real statement I think that we need to come to when we talk about the point of achievement, stuff like that. The original Stanley's Parable punished you if you wanted all the ends? Giving you a really awful and sad one? Oh my god. I did not know about that about the Stanley Parable. I really want to play the Stanley Parable. Every so often, I remember that it exists. And I'm like, has it been long enough for me to just like completely forget the Let's Plays that I saw of it? Sometimes I think yes, sometimes I think no. Sometimes I think, who was the last time, the last person I watched play it? I think it was like, maybe Gura? I think I saw Matt Pat play it on Game Theory Live. And then like a few years later I saw Gura playing it. And it's kind of like Outer Wilds where like I know a lot about it, but my memory issues have also just kind of like helped file away and store a lot of that stuff away, so I just do not remember it. Maybe I'll remember more of it as we get into some of these fights, some of these playthroughs. I don't know. It's actually kind of an interesting experiment that I'm pulling on myself. I have watched so many videos on the Outer Wilds, but I have never actually played it. And I've convinced myself that at some point, I'm going to actually play the Outer Wilds. Despite, you know, not going to have the some of these knowledge revelations, because I'm actually just going to remember what the solutions are. And at the same time, though, I'm going to find out if, like, the knowledge lock Metroidvania aspects of this are still fun. Stanley Parable was so old that in the big update it had the narrator talk about James Stephen Sterling as the woman she is now. I don't even know what that means. Achievements are just such a... When I was playing Big Light Chronicles 2, one of the things that I told myself was that I was going to try doing some of the side quests, but only when I really wanted to play the game and didn't want to spend time playing the main story. Like if I was traveling and on the road and I wanted to play, but I didn't have time to listen to watch a cutscene, because let's face it, if you are on the road, you're just like playing a game while you're waiting on something, then you don't really want to be stuck in an hour cutscene. I don't like pausing mid cutscene because I forget what the context of the cutscene is as soon as I get back to it. So side quests are just a way to play the game, right? They're a way to take a break from the main story. They're a way to do other random stuff, and sometimes you'll get nice rewards for it, but you don't necessarily know what those rewards are going to be. But then, if you know what the reward is, then you feel like, oh, I have to go and do this side quest because it guarantees this rare or powerful item. It just makes the playthrough so much easier, or whatever. That's when it goes from, being treated as bonus material to feeling like a prerequisite, right? It's kind of how I feel about the side quests here in Final Fantasy XIV. I was doing those yellows because I kind of just wanted to do the yellows, and then some of them had incidental rewards that I didn't. Meanwhile, we have the Mugo quest coming up with the reputation quests, and I'm doing those because I want to get the Mugo dance, or I want to get glasses emoji, or stuff like that. And now it's still side stuff, but it's something I really wanted, and now it's locked behind us. The road is a long... The English video game journalist. The game the narrator shows her old view of the game when she had not yet transitioned. Oh! Oh! Based. Base is heck. She's the main writer of Vampire Survivor. Ooh! Writer of Vampire. That's another game I want to try at some. Alright, folks, so we are now officially wrapping things up. We're not going to be heading out just yet, but if anyone is so inclined, if you want to lead the raid, I'm always looking for people who are cool, people who I can follow, people who I can just like casually hang out and watch with. I'm always, maybe they're trans, maybe they're a VTuber, maybe they play Magic, maybe they play Final Fantasy. If you know someone who, fits those categories, go ahead and lead the raid. Ugh. In the meantime, oh god, what am I working on today? Costco is closed because it's family day, so I'm not going to go shopping until tomorrow, which is perfectly fine because I'm actually going to start shopping on Tuesdays now. There's a pre-modern there's a pre-modern tournament every other week at another shop that my wife wants us to start going to. And you know me, I really want to help out my wife, so I'm going to start shifting around my schedule a little bit. It's not going to affect anything streaming-wise. Streaming-wise, it's going to be the same. Stream-wise, schedules are going to be the same. In fact, I don't think there's anything this week that's going to get in the way of us having a normal, regular stream week. So, like, I could probably stop saying, hey, yep, this will be another normal week. I mean, if something comes up, something comes up. I'll try and, like, I'll give you all the heads up as we go. Buddy Kaz the Titan said he was coming online, but I guess he's not ready yet. Yeah, we still have a few minutes. Oh, God. Honestly, the hardest thing is just going to be figuring out when to do laundry. laundry and also just shifting dinner around. Because on the one hand, if I could just like swap Monday and Tuesday, that'd be fine. But now Monday is going to be... The way that normally goes is that on Monday, I get off stream, I go wind down, I go de-stim, I go sit in some quiet area so that way I'm not frazzled up from stream. Then we go shopping. I go grocery shopping, we get our Costco hot dog, my wife gets chicken fingers, not hot and fresh, and then we come home. Tuesday, I do my house cleaning. That doesn't change. I stream, I get off, and then I immediately have to take care of laundry because that's when I have an availability on Tuesdays. But if now Tuesday is going to be go grocery shopping, that's fine, but when the fuck am I doing my laundry? Well, it's sure as hell not going to be on Monday, I can tell you that. Or maybe it is on Monday. I can check the laundry room on Monday to see if there's any free time there. If I can find a hole in Monday to do during the day, that's probably fine. Ideally even. I just really like it when Wednesday is like the start of my free week. Where Wednesday I'm relatively free, Thursday I'm relatively free, Friday like, okay, yeah, I've got fun. On. Be there, by the way. We're still playing through Final Fantasy VIII. I passed through a ton of quizzes to get my seed rank up. Passed the girlfriend quiz. I don't know. There's the initial hesitation of just like my tism being like, but no, this is the routine. The routine is why I don't get to do it. I want to do more so. Normal week suffers more damage by fighting weak attacks. True! True! Some days I do just feel like I'm getting popped in the mouth. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we'll end it over on the YouTube side. Thank you all so much for hanging out. If you're hanging out over there and you... Okay. On the Twitch side, who are we rating?